What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromRetail. This story's called, I Get to Scare a Thief. I used to work as a retail supervisor for a hospital hotel for years. I got a lot of stories during that time, but this is one of my favorites. The first time we see the person in question, he was grabbing a tray and heading over to the soup bar. I remember distinctly that he was wearing a very bright, memorable Hawaiian shirt. Was it me? I was working the register, so I had a pretty good vantage point of most of the area customers would be, which makes it easier to keep an eye on everyone and everything. The man came up with his tray of soup, staring straight ahead. Worried he would pass me and forget to pay, I said in my winning customer service voice, "Hello, sir." He kept walking. "Sir, you have to pay for that." Still no response, and he didn't even speed up his walk. "Sir, sir." Being a woman on the shorter side, there was no way for me to stop him, so I picked up the phone and dialed security. The man decided to walk out into our courtyard, which just so happened to not double as an exit. Security came to me, asked me about what had happened, then went to go talk to the individual. He ended up being escorted off the premises, and we thought that was that. Just a very bold thief. But no, it couldn't stop there. It was a slow day, so hours later, I was chatting with a coworker, me behind my counter, my coworker on the other side. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a very familiar Hawaiian shirt. The thief had returned. Now, for me personally, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I didn't say anything at first, but I did keep half an eye on him while I chatted with my work friend. On the complete other side of the room from where I was, trust me, huge room, I saw the man pick up a bag of chips and stuff them in his shirt. I was pretty ticked off, so before I could think, hesitate, or finish the sentence I was on in my conversation, big sister voice came out, and I yelled in a voice that is often used to frighten people bigger than me, "Sir, put those chips back right now!" My coworker was frozen in place with surprise and confusion, and the man's eyes were huge. There was silence for a few moments as I did my best to keep up the stern expression I had. He walked over to me, and it was suddenly very obvious how much smaller I was. Without saying a word, he took the chips out of his shirt, laid them down on the counter in front of me, and trudged away. For years after that, it was my coworker's favorite story of me, and one I tend to chuckle at now. Badass. That must have felt pretty cool to make some dude way huger than you freak out and put the chips back. I wish there was video of that. This story's called Angry Coupon Lady. Coupon, whatever. This happened back in 2008, in November. My department store was well into the holiday season, with lines of 20 to 30 people at any given time. All 4 registers in our pod were staffed and going full steam as we helped people who often had massive piles of clothes to purchase. It was barely controlled chaos. To add to this, we had timed coupons that started at 4 p.m., no exception. On this day, I arrived for my 4 p.m. shift to a bit of commotion. I could hear and see a rather unhappy woman as I stepped off the escalator. She will be Confused Lady. Confused Lady was right next to the counter, getting in the way of the other customers. She kept refusing to leave and snapped at anyone who made her step back. I moved closer to relieve a coworker, and Crazy Lady. And Crazy Lady turned her glare on me. One look at my store lanyard, and she started going off, yelling how I was stupid, this store was stupid, I was a crook, etc. Once I began my shift, I found out why she was so angry. Remember those timed coupons? She'd been there since 2, demanding to use them. Yep, that's right. She had spent over 2 hours at this point ranting about how she wanted to use those coupons right then. No amount of explanation could get it through her thick skull that our system and our company policy would not make any exceptions to that start time. I wondered why she wasn't kicked out long before now, but instead, here we are, finally ringing her up at about 4:40 p.m. The girl who got stuck with her had only started about 2 weeks before and didn't know how to handle the coupons. So I, who had only started in September, had to turn around and help her. Yeah, none of us in this pod were very experienced. Crazy lady sniped at us the entire time, and she was personally insulting us at the same time. It was anger-inducing, but we were professional as we rung up a massive pile of items over several transactions. She spent about $300 after coupons, but given everything else, was her purchase really worth it? I say yes, because you know what? Now you're stronger from it, plus you have a cool story, lots of karma, and you're in a YouTube video. At least one. I don't know who else did the story. I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know. Alright, this story's called, "That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard." New South Wales has very strict RSA laws, which are Responsible Service of Alcohol laws. If you're selling alcohol and you screw the rules up and you get caught, you're about to lose your job, lose your qualifications to sell liquor, catch a fine, and the people you work for catch a fine too. I was working at a large chain that sells alcohol. RSA is something we deal with daily. Someone comes in Saturday who's clearly been drinking. Nope, can't sell it. Usually they chuck a temper tantrum and we have to write an incident report. Gonna be honest, most of the time I refuse service because someone's left their ID in their car. I let them run out and grab it, and I'm pretty sure that on paper I'm supposed to write an incident report and refuse service anyway, but screw it. Managers never bothered me about stuff like that. We get a lot of drunks that just got thrown out of the pub coming to get one for the road. Usually very thankful, security turns them away at the door. We get a lot of kids who pretend to get offended when you ask for their ID. We get kids who think they're smart by coming in as a group and thinking we'll process the transaction before we check everyone's ID. As a rule of thumb, I turn away anyone in a school uniform, ID or not. They can't prove they're not buying for anyone else, and I'm not gonna chance it. I know there's no law, but our state has the strictest laws and the most arbitrary enforcement, so yeah. We also get kids who think we weren't their age at one point and don't know how to easily clock that you're using your older sibling's ID. We also get people who get offended when you check their ID on subsequent visits, led to my favorite customer interaction ever.
You don't legally have to check ID if you recognize the person you're serving?
If I could describe the look on that woman's face, it was like I just force-fed her salt and garbage. But that's not the story. Here's the story. So it was a Wednesday afternoon. A lady comes in that's very obviously old enough to purchase alcohol and very obviously sober. She grabs a case of beer and I don't even think twice. I go to scan the case and then she says,
"I'm buying these for my son. He's turning 18 on Sunday."
I briefly consider just letting her through anyway. Then I remember that we're in mystery shop time of the month, and it's usually around the time of day they come in. Then I realize that my manager is directly behind me. I literally have no wiggle room. "Sorry, can't continue the transaction. State law says you cannot purchase alcohol for a minor."
"But he's turning 18 on Sunday."
"Today's Wednesday."
"That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard."
On the inside, is it, lady? Is it? A several $1,000 fine and loss of my job if I'm caught continuing this transaction is not ridiculous to me.
I actually knew that. I have my RSA too.
Again, internally. Getting it's easy, but you clearly haven't made your money back off it, or you know we can't do this. Me, externally, stunned silence.
"Can I at least get this wine?"
Refusal of service means refusal of service. I can't sell you anything, and I'm gonna ask you to leave now. I thought that was the end of it until a customer complaint came in. Because my manager recognized her, she threw the complaint out. Moral of the story, look, nobody cares if you give your kid alcohol when they hit drinking age. Just don't freaking tell us that's what you're doing if your kid isn't 18 while you're making the purchase. Honestly, most people don't care if you give your kid alcohol. In fact, it's legal in most places. Even if you're below the drinking age, your parents still can give you alcohol within their own home or whatever. I don't know the specific laws, but I'm pretty sure in most European countries it's a lot more lax because drinking culture is way different. It's a lot more of a casual social thing as opposed to like a party thing, you know? Like, oh, we're not allowed to drink, so let's get drunk and party, man! Like, it's more acceptable, so it's less likely to be like a, ooh, guilty pleasure sort of thing. At least from what I've heard. But what do I know? I've never lived anywhere in Europe. Alright, this story's called Customer Intentionally Uses Broken Down Bathroom and Then Threatened to Sue. Happened around 2018 at the arts and crafts store I used to work at. The women's bathroom was notorious for breaking down every other week. For reasons that still elude me, the store never contacted a plumber to handle this. Only thing we were ever told was that the pipes were old or something. It was already bad enough that they never hired another janitor after our previous one retired, so the assistant managers were left dealing with bathroom cleaning on top of their additional responsibilities. Anyway, on yet another instance of the bathroom breaking down, floor was flooded. This time around, there were 3 rows of tape set in front of the door that also held up a very obvious sign saying in bold letters that the bathroom was closed and out of order. If you had to go in, you had to duck under the tape to then open the door. The men's bathroom was available, and we just had to knock ahead of time. A sign was placed on the door to briefly explain why. It was around 10 a.m. that day, and the store was borderline empty. And with all of us doing our separate tasks, we didn't notice a customer even going into the bathroom. What we do notice a short time later is her complaining to a fellow coworker over how unsanitary the bathroom was and how she was going to sue. One of our assistant managers told her it was closed and taped off for a reason. Customer bluntly said that it didn't matter. Assistant manager wished her luck in finding a lawyer that would take her case. Customer never came back. That's why signs are so important, because then if someone is stupid enough to get injured even with a sign there, well, like at that point, it's just This story's called, Going, Gone! Tales from a Fireworks Tent. Background! I own and operate my own retail stores. They're actually seasonal fireworks tents, but not like any tent you've seen before. They're a massive fireworks heaven, where the party and the insanity climax on the 4th of July and New Year's Eve. Story! In case you didn't see it on the news, the US demand for fireworks leading up to the 4th of July was up by more than 200%. I'm guessing it was a combination of people wanting to blow off steam and cities canceling fireworks shows. As you can imagine, the entire sales period was a madhouse, with lots of stores running out of fireworks early. I was actually way overstocked, or at least I thought I was. In the beginning of 2020, the firework factories in China were unexpectedly shut down for months due to the Brovid outbreak, causing a national shortage of fireworks in the US. Luckily for me, I'd actually accepted a late shipment of fireworks near the end of 2019 that someone else had refused. Sometimes dumb luck beats careful planning. Nathan Drake versus Batman. I want to see that. Welcome to owning your own business. Batman would probably win. By late afternoon on the 4th, we were busier than I had ever thought possible. Apparently, we were just about the only place nearby with fireworks still on the shelf, and people were pouring in from all over. We were stocking as fast as we could, and some of our most popular items were quickly running out. I was bouncing around and trying to help as many people as possible when one of my employees flagged me down. He had some guys who were giving him a hard time, and they wanted to see the manager. I walked over and introduced myself to the two guys who were probably in their late 20s. They were immediately rude and informed me that they had driven over an hour to buy a specific mortar pack, and that I needed to make it worth their while. They insisted on a 50% discount for their gas and inconvenience. I straight up cry-laughed in their faces. Seriously, if you want a deal on fireworks, don't wait until the last minute when I'm getting absolutely hammered and selling out of everything. You see those boxes on the shelf? That's all I have left. The deal is that you should buy one now before they're all gone.
Blah, blah, blah! I can get them cheaper somewhere else!
Idiot, you just told me you drove an hour because I'm the only place that has any left.
Blah, blah, blah!
Seriously, as I watch the remaining boxes disappearing, you should grab it now if you want them.
Blah, blah, blah! This other fireworks store always gives us a discount, blah, blah, blah!
Gentlemen, as a woman grabs the last box in front of us, the problem has been solved. We're all sold out. Apparently, this kicked their stupidity into overdrive. One of them starts shouting and tries to take the last box from the woman who had just picked it up. I stepped between them and let them know that it's time for them to leave. They continued yelling at me and kindly offered to kick my ass and set the place on fire, getting the attention of pretty much everyone in the place, including the uniformed off-duty police officer that I hire for security. I told the officer that I was too busy to bother with them and to just tell them to leave. He ran their info anyway and let them debate life in the back of his car for 30 minutes anyway. I hope they found a store with sparklers and snaps left on their long drive home. Hey, sounds like OP had a good freaking couple of days this year with all those firework sales, but I hope everyone was being responsible and no one caught a certain potentially deadly pathogen. If you guys know what I'm referring to, I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and enjoy the story. Like above the title of the story where they have all the awards and stuff, it says light fuse and run like hell. Lighting a fireworks tent on fire would be something I want to see. I'm pretty sure that's been on video before. So many fireworks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.